Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is Billionaire Romance Recommendations. I did kind of do a poll on my Instagram stories and was like, hey, if somebody's giving you Billionaire Romance Recommendations, do the very rich count? And most of you voted that the very rich count. So some of these are just very rich men, just so you know. So today I have a collaboration with Tori from Novel Life. I really like her, like a lot. She reads a lot of contemporary, fantasy, historical romance. Does she read paranormal? Tori, do you read paranormal? I don't know. I'm like trying to think. I don't know. Listen, guys, don't take my word for anything because my memory is garbage. But anyways, I really enjoy her. Her reaction vlogs to the Sarah J. Maas series were just so entertaining. Oh, and she did one for A Heart, Blood, and Ashes, and she posted hers before I read it, and I was like reading it like that week. So as soon as I finished, I went and watched her vlog, and it was so great because it was like all the same reactions as me, and that's when I like started religiously watching her videos because I was like, all right, you and me, we got it going on. We know what we're talking about. Anyways, she's a delight. And so she was like, last week, this girl, she's just like on top of things. She was like, all right, so I'm filming and I have 10 recommendations. Do I need to add more? And I was like, listen, lady, I have like 5 recommendations a video, so no. Like, I'm gonna have to catch up. So she filmed it with 10. And then I only had like 5, so I was trying to add on, and now I have 12, so I have to decide if I want to cut some out or just one up her and like, guess what, bitch, I got 12. So yes, that was my bad. And then she offered to refilm for me, and I was like, who has got that time? Nobody wants to be doing that. Nobody wants to redo a video that they already did. Are you insane? So she's clearly a better person than I am, because I would not be offering. I'd just be like, oh well. Which is exactly what I was like. It's fine. Everything is fine. So anyways, I really enjoy her a lot. We chat a good amount on Instagram. Yeah, if you have read any of the fantasy romance series that I just mentioned, you should watch her vlogs because they really are just so good. All right, I'm done. Billionaire. The first one that I ever read, the first one that just made me search. Again, this is before BookTube. This is why I do searchable titles. Search and search and search some more for similar books, was Bared to You by Sylvia Day. This is a 6-book series about one couple. It's the Crossfire series. It is often compared to 50 Shades of Grey. I think that it's like 1,000 times better, but whatever. There are some BDSM elements, although I would say very light. That's just my personal opinion. However, pretty much every single main character in this series is a survivor of sexual abuse and trauma. And so if you're sensitive to that, it's all throughout the series. It's not super heavy. Not who the freak is vacuuming while I am recording. I'm sorry, Tori. This is just a lot. Oh my god. Stupid little man cleaning my house for me. I wonder what happened that he would be vacuuming right now. Surely he's not vacuuming like the whole house. This has to be like a spill cleanup or something, right? Anyways, so Gideon Cross is like one of my ultimate book boyfriends. I just love him so much. The relationship is a little bit toxic, a lot possessive, a lot everything, jealous, all the things over the top, and I just love it. Like, that is what. Listen, I love my husband with my whole heart, and I greatly appreciate when he does housework for me. If he vacuums one more freaking time, what? I am trying. I thought I heard it. Did you see that? That was me. What was I saying about getting cross? I love him. The thing that I like about the kind of toxicity, if you will, and the jealousness and the possessiveness is that it goes both ways in this relationship. And I think that that works. I personally think that it almost doesn't matter what relationship dynamics your fictional couple has or even a real life couple has, but you do have to be compatible. You have to both be getting what you want out of it. And yes, there are some people who thrive on actual toxicity and it's not good for them. But also, if somebody being jealous and possessive makes you feel wanted and protected and valued, that's great. But if it makes you feel like claustrophobic, then don't be with somebody, actively be with somebody that is jealous and possessive. You know, like both people have to be getting what they need. Anyways, so he's a billionaire and they meet and it's like instant attraction, it's all the things, and she's like, no, and he's like, yes, and it's great. They both have a lot of trauma and just about every book kind of ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger breakup type thing, but don't ask me why. It worked for me. I binged those books. I've read a bunch of them, if not all of them, multiple times. It's just so great. One thing that I did like is that she did not need his money. Then I have Auntie Up by Christina C. Jones. This is the first in her like Vegas universe thing, I think. I don't know. I haven't read enough of the other books connected to this to be sure, but the owner of this owns a casino, so we're just gonna call him very rich. I don't know if he's a billionaire or not, but he's very rich. And she is a waitress at one of his businesses, but she's also an amazing poker player, and they meet. She doesn't know who he is. She's not at work or anything. He doesn't know that she's an employee. They hook up, and then things progress from there. And there's a lot of drama. And it was really good. If you have a trigger for loss of a loved one, that would probably be the main thing in this book. But she did not back down from him at all. I love them. Then I have Maybe Next Time, which is Vegas Nights #1 by Christina C. Jones. This one is kind of loosely tied to Auntie Up. A couple of the characters pop up, but you can fully read it as a standalone. This one has a content warning for miscarriage, but it is a marriage in trouble, and he goes over the top alpha to not let his wife divorce him, to make her love him again. And it's so great. It's a novella. The series, it's a trilogy of novellas about 3 siblings, and I finished the 3rd one yesterday, and it's great. It's so great. He's another one that's very rich, but we don't really find out his net worth, but he's very rich. Then we have Bad Billionaire by Julie Kriss. This one is such a fun premise. So he is a getaway driver and a mechanic, and he ends up going to prison. But before he goes to prison, he has a one-night stand, knowing he's going to prison, and she knows it too. He has a one-night stand with his hot neighbor that he's really had a thing for. So then he goes to prison for 3 years, and he tells her not to wait for him. And about a month before he gets out of prison, he inherits $1 billion. And so then he gets out of prison, and all he wants is her. And this is definitely romantic suspense, but it's so great watching him transform from like this dirty, tattooed mechanic vibe to this soothed up billionaire who like doesn't lose his edge but becomes a chameleon to, it's so great. It's so great. Really entertaining, funny, so good. Then I have The Price of Scandal, which is Blue Water Billionaires #1 by Lucy Score. Each book in this series is written by a different author, and the authors are cameoed in the series, which is pretty fun. And all the billionaires are the females. So this first one, she has a public image crisis, and he is kind of there to fix up her image. And when she meets him, he's in her house, in her bathtub, and they fall in love. Another one is with the bodyguard, and it's a really fun series. Really smart heroines. Then I have Love Unsolicited by Alexandra Warren. This is my first ever Alexandra Warren book, and he is a billionaire, and she is kind of like a con artist, except she's not. At least not anymore. But she is bored, and so she goes kind of trolling, and she picks him up. And he like knows that she's gonna steal from him, and he doesn't even care. So they hook up, and then she goes on about her life, and then she finds out that he is her sister's boss, new boss. And I liked it because she wasn't his employee. She didn't need the money. She didn't really owe him anything, but they did cross paths because of that. And I thought that worked really well, because I do feel like, and the new boss is him, is so predictable, but it's not her boss. And I just really enjoyed this take. Then I have Burn For Me, which is Hidden Legacy #1 by Ilona Andrews. This one is a urban fantasy or paranormal romance. So this has a super fascinating magic system, and each one is in houses, and there's the primes of the houses. The primes are the powerful, and they are animal, go away. They're powerful, and they are also the heads of their houses, and he's slightly insane. And she has like a detective agency, and also is like the head of her house or something, like, or she doesn't have a house, but she's very protective of her family, and her family is very protective of her, and they have to like catch a killer together, and he's rich and insane and crazy powerful, and I need to reread it so bad. And I have Burn, which is Dark and You #1 by Suzanne Wright. This is demon urban fantasy romance, and he is a billionaire. He owns most of the underground of Las Vegas, but it is the demon underground, so it's where the demons get to go play without having to pretend like they are human. And of course, demons are very attracted to vices, so there are strip clubs and casinos and all the things that are prevalent in Vegas, but the demon version. And then Harper is a sphinx. She was raised by imps, and imps, they never let anything go without getting more than even, and it's glorious. It's so much fun. So the demons have psychic anchors, and that helps to ground their powers, keep them from going insane. The more powerful you are, often the more you need your psychic anchor, I think was how it worked. But anyways, he's super duper powerful, like the most powerful demon on earth, and nobody actually knows what type of demon he is. And he finds out that Harper is his psychic anchor, and she really doesn't want to be. She really doesn't want to do anything with him because he is so powerful. She knows this could get dicey. This could not be a great idea, but I just love them. There are 4 books about this couple, and he's very rich, and they are demons. And it is a good time. Then I have Night, which is Unfinished Hero #1 by Kristen Ashley. This is kind of her series of anti-heroes. And Night, his business is sex workers, and he obviously has to deal with a lot of prejudice against that. His mom is a sex worker who did not have a great end, and so he makes sure that his girls are safe and that they have a safe place to work and all of the things. And they it's definitely romantic suspense. There's a lot of things that happen. He's very rich. They meet at a party at his apartment that his brother threw, and he's very alpha and possessive. Then I have Against the Ropes, which is Redemption #1 by Castille. This is a MMA romance, and so this first book is about Torment. Is it Torment? I don't know, but the guy that owns the illegal MMA gym is also a billionaire, and he's the top fighter and the owner and a billionaire. And she is a medic who cannot stand physical violence because of trauma. Because they are an illegal underground gym, they need a medic without getting snitched on. So for a lot of money that she needs, she's going to be their medic. And all of the fighters are really alpha and possessive, but obviously he's kind of like the most because he's #1. It's so great. I love this series. I read the whole series, and then I read her whole Motorcycle Club series. I read like her whole Mafia, or almost all of her Mafia series too, I want to say. I haven't read one of her books in a minute, but I should really look into it because I love her writing. All right, people, listen, I don't want to hear it, Maximo from Little Dove by Layla Frost is a very rich man, okay? He owns like 5 ginormous, the best of the best casinos in Las Vegas. You cannot tell me that he is not richy rich. Anyways, he's the best. I love him with my whole heart and being. He is a daddy dom. There's an age gap, there's captive-captor, there's the super healthy relationship between the two of them, even though she's like 18. Starts out when she's 17, nothing happens. We don't do that here. And then when she's 18, he makes it clear that he does want a relationship with her, but that there is no pressure and no consequences if she says no. There's some romantic suspense elements. He's so good to her, and so are all of his men, and it's so great. I love them so much, and he is very rich. And lastly, I have Dirty Filthy Rich Men by Laurelin Paige. This is consensual and non-consent. There is kind of a content warning for sexual assault, so she is sexually assaulted at the party. He intervenes, but because of that, she kind of has a taste for consensual non-consent. And so we have the first part when they are in college, right after he rescues her. He sleeps with her, and then she leaves college for a completely unrelated incident, and they don't see each other again for 10 years when she starts working at his company, and they enter into a consensual non-consent relationship, and it is a duet, so there's a cliffhanger at the end of the first book, and then the second book you get your happily ever after. It's very dark, very toxic, very crazy, over the top. It's also very good. It was my first introduction to consensual non-consent. It is something that I do enjoy reading about in my books, and he's very rich. He comes from money and he makes money with his business, which is with his partners from his friends from college at Harvard, I think. So yeah, they just keep making more money, and there are books about all of them, but this is probably my favorite. So that's it. Do you enjoy reading about billionaires? Obviously, a lot of times people enjoy reading about it because money can often mean security, and also sometimes it's fun just to read about getting all the things that you want. Another thing about it is that oftentimes the rich are terrible people. And so it's fun to either get a hero who is the exception to the rule, or who is kind of a terrible person, but who is really good to his woman, so you kind of don't care if he's a garbage human to other people. Am I the only one that likes reading about this? I don't know. It's an interesting thing. We like fictional billionaires, not so much the real ones, you know? Anyways, is this a trope that you find yourself reaching for? Chances are good that if you watch the whole video, it is. And or you just like me enough to watch a video that you didn't care about, in which case, extra thanks to you. Thank you so much, Tori, for doing this collab with me. She reached out. She was like, I think she did. I don't know. It could have been me. Maybe it was me. Maybe I could take the credit for this. I honestly have no idea. Nonetheless, Tori, thank you for doing this with me. I'm sure her recommendations were amazing. I kind of think she had better to you. I hope she did. I think she did. I don't know. But we're going to find out. And yeah, I'm probably going to read some of her recommendations. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.